Hello everyone, RJ is back again. Today I have one more story. The man who was never missed. The city gathered for a funeral. The church was full. Flowers covered the door. People cried, but no one could remember a single thing the dead man had built. They remembered that he was polite. They remembered he was funny. They remembered that he liked cricket. They remembered that he watched every new series. They remembered that he always said he had big plans. No one remembered the plans because the plans had never existed outside his mind. After the funeral, death arrived, not to collect him, to question him. Death placed two chairs in an empty room. Sit. The man obeyed. Death opened a book. It contained every hour of his life, not every year, not every achievement, every hour. Death turned to one turned to page 1. Age 16 wanted to become exceptional. Another page, age 18, still wanted it. Another, age 21, still talking about it. Another, age 25, now explaining why it hadn't happened. Another, age 32, too many responsibilities. Another, age 41, too late to start. Another, age 56, maybe in retirement. Another, age 73, if only I had begun when I was young. Death closed the book. This is your biography, the man shouted. There must be more than that. There is. Death opened another book. This one had only blank pages. What is that? The work only you could have done. The problem only you could have solved. The people only you could have helped. The children who would have grown because of your example. The ideas that died inside your silence. The man touched the pages. They were empty, every one of them. Who erased them? Death answered, no one. They were never written. The man whispered. It was waiting for confidence. Death nodded. So was everyone. I was waiting for motivation. So was everyone. I was waiting until I felt ready. Death leaned forward. Do you know what separates history from obscurity? The man remained silent. Death said, history is written by people who acted before they felt ready. The room disappeared. They were now standing in a cemetery. There were a million of graves. Some were enormous, some were simple. Death pointed to the name. Scientists, teacher, builder, artist, mothers, fathers, soldiers, programmer. They all died. The man looked confused. I know. Death continued, but none of them brought their life's work into this cemetery. They left it outside, in books, in bridges, in companies, in families, in discoveries, in character. Then death walked to one last grave. It had no name, no date, no flowers. What is this? Death answered quietly. This grave is always dug before birth. It waits for one thing. What? The version of every human being that never come to existence. The man stared into it. There was nobody, only darkness. Death spoke for the last time. People believed they fear failure. They don't. They fear beginning. So they make a trade. They exchange the pain of discipline for the certainty of insignificance. The man fell to his knees. I wasted my life. Death shook his head. No, you spent it. Wasting required intention. You simply spent it on things that could not remember you. The cemetery vanished. The funeral ended. The mourner went home. Within weeks, they returned to work. Within months, they stopped mentioning his name. Within a year, it was as though he had never existed. Not because he wasn't loved, but because he had left nothing that could continue the conversation after he was gone. The final page of Death's book contained only one sentence. Every day ask the same question. When your name is spoken for the last time, what will still be speaking for you? If your goal is to write something that people carry for years, I would stop trying to make the reader feel guilty. The deepest tragedy don't accuse the reader, they quietly confront them with irreversible loss. That is what tends to linger. So, with this, I am ending today's story. Thanks for listening.